Hey everybody, welcome to my channel for the second half of Truth Tuesday.
It was weird.
What?
It failed to play the clip.
What clip?
It said your browser failed to play the clip. At least on my end.
Which one?
After the countdown.
All right, thought that time.
Okay, I saw that.
Like I said, welcome.
So what I missed today while I was at school? Hot topics.
Lisa needed to start a little later. Yeah. Oh,
you're talking to yourself.
Oh yeah, people are asking like, what's going on before?
Yeah, so today, once a month, the kids at the homeschool co-op and the moms all go meet and have ice cream and meet after school, and it got bumped to a different week, and so we just need to start a little bit later. And Sean was gracious enough to do so, so Cannon appreciated that, so he got to run around with his friends. See them after school.
Well, what I wanted to talk about, and there's a thing with the censorship, which we talked about on your channel, and a lot of stuff has come out about that. But I mean, after the Twitter files, like everyone knew, it's this is something that really makes me angry. That I call it the Area 51 phenomenon. It's like they leak it to where everyone knows it's real. They just don't admit it, and they finally admit it, and everyone's like, yeah, we knew it. But there's no outrage. It's like people are just like, yeah, we knew it. There's not enough outrage or anger. Yeah, it makes me angry. What I was wanting to talk about is, for me, thank you, is about us getting into all these conflicts, which I think are coming. And it's going to be very, 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 very bad.
Leave none alive. To war! There will be no door for men.
I think we're there. And I think even like in the scene, Worm Tongue even knows how bad it is. He lets that tear go. So as I mentioned over there, that we talked about a week or two ago, that Biden is talking about bringing back the draft, which made me very angry. Seth, mind your biz. He was pissed. We all were like, "You're not taking my kids." It's like you do all your bullshit. You have your wars. You screwed up. You're terrible. But it's like we can kind of stay out of like that's you're evil over there. But then now you're coming after me and my family. You're going to directly affect me. You're not taking my kids to fight your wars. And so I looked it up, and it's usually 18 to 25. But they can raise it to 42. And they're already talking about raising it to 42. He is. I really don't think that he's 100% there. I think that, like with the gingivitis outbreak, that they're trying to get as much done with the puppet as they can before he keels over. So I think things are definitely on a fast track.
He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they're raping everybody out here.
They're coming, and it's very, very, very bad. So two things that I wanted to talk about that happened. I don't know if you know. Do you know what the Marine Ball?
Yes, they canceled it.
right?
Mhm.
Which it's a huge deal.
Yeah, they said it's one thing to, like, reschedule it, but it's another thing to, like, all out cancel it.
Yeah, it's like, but it's like it's not like the army, or it's this huge thing that's been part of our country that's
Mhm,
been part of societal stuff.
mhm,
Like big actors and actresses will go there, with the Marines. Um, it's like it's like an event. It's like the Met, the gala, but
mhm.
it's not cringe. So the fact that they canceled it was a huge deal, and the general that canceled it is a special general. He is in charge of the Middle East, and I got a couple articles. Let me share them. I can share the articles. I know how to do that. I just don't know how to do the sound. So you can see here, this is the Western Journal and most other newspapers. U.S. Marine Command cancels annual Marine Ball, citing unforeseen circumstances. Um, they're not really hitting on why and who, but the Marines, the actual Marine Times, it's the Middle East focused Marine Command that cancels. Like we know why. Um, so it's a huge deal, and I think a very telling deal that like they wouldn't do that unless there's a reason. And what is the reason? And I think the reason is to put boots on the ground, and more for us to actually have a presence in this ongoing crisis. I mean, I think this is, like I said on your channel, I think this is actually what everyone's always said. Oh, it's revelations. This may be it. Um, I knew, or I thought that like Israel's done with Palestine, with the Gaza Strip, and now there's stuff that's come out that they are. That's what they want. Their plan is to kick them all out. Um, everybody, every man, woman, child, get them out of that open air prison, um, and to just send them off as refugees to mainly America. Um, did you see the leaked document from Israel?
I mean, I don't know which one. Oh, from Israel, no, I have not.
Well, the plan basically is to embarrass the United States and
Oh, yes, mhm.
other countries into taking in this 2 million
The
people.
Hamas or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, no, not the Hamas. The
Oh, I thought that's what it was, into
the
taking.
Palestinians. The Palestinians are there.
Oh, okay.
Hamas, it's their terrorist group, but they're the governing body there.
Okay.
It basically, I mean, it's like Mad Max. It's it's this like a wasteland Mad. It's an open air prison. It's like Escape from New York, Escape from LA. All those sci-fi things where they just wall off the city, and like that's the prison now, and they just send people in. It's an open air prison. All their most of their food, I think it's like 80% of their food, Israel brings it in. It's their 100% of their power and water comes from Israel. So they have it's a prison. But they want to take it back. They want to level it. Um, they want to. It's like Lex Luthor's plan, and in Superman 1, just get rid of California. He bought all the deserts in Nevada and all that, and that's the new coastline. Um, they're done. They want to just clear the place out. They want to embarrass the United States and other Western countries into taking them, and then clear it. They're take it all, which is it's a terrible bad situation in the first place. It's not our. I mean, I can understand Israel's our good best ally and whatever you want to say, but still wrong is wrong. You know, like if Trump says something that's wrong, you got to be able to say, yeah, that's wrong. If he does something that's wrong, you got to be able to say that's wrong. I think he did one of the most socialist things ever when he bailed out the airline industry and gave them all the money. That's not how free markets work. That's not how capitalism works. They have to fail, and then the airline companies, like you said, nothing disappears. You can't destroy matter. The planes are still there. All the stuff is still there. So Southwest or whoever, these airlines that
were doing good things.
were
Yeah.
doing running their companies
Kneecap
well,
the ones that were doing good because
they get to buy those planes at 25 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, that's what should have happened.
That's how capitalism works, man.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that. He straight up bailed them out. And we have a zombie economy for it. That's you have to be able to call, a spade a spade.
We don't have a zombie economy because of that one thing. That is not the reason for the zombie economy. We have a zombie economy because of the Fed and because we are in a fiat slavery system, which that's what I think all of these engagements that we're being entered into is only to speed up the printer go burr.
Yeah, it is.
Every engagement that we enter into,
literally,
another $100 million.
The airline industry died, and we brought it back to life with our printing the money. That's it. That is the definition of a zombie. It was dead, and we Frankenstein it, and that's wrong. But so my point is, you have to be able to say, I'm on the wrong place. Sorry, I'm looking at us on screen. I'm trying to read the chat. It's the propaganda of being a victim, snowflakes, and then also the thing about the iron laser we talked about the other day. I am. Good to have you here. You're not late. We're running late, but it's a terrible thing to do. It's a whole terrible situation. That is one thing that it freaks me out and bothers me that people, we have this us versus them versus Obama. It's like, what side are you on? It's not what the problem is or how do you fix the problem. It's what side are you on? And if you say, I'm not on a side, I think we need to fix this. So you're on that side. You're like, what?
Just do the work. Show up and do the work. Yeah.
Trump, what do you think? So you're pro, Ukraine. He's like, no, I want them to stop.
And Trump doesn't say that. He says, I want them to stop killing.
I want to stop killing.
I'm American.
Yeah, there's people dying, and I want people to stop dying. I want it to end. And they're like, so are you pro? It's like are you Chinese or Japanese? Well, neither. I'm from. I forget what that was from. I come from Laos. Oh, it's King of the Hill. Are you Chinese or Japanese? I'm Laotian. So are you Chinese or Japanese? It's like they kept and they keep hitting him. It's like, so you're pro-Russia? It's like, no, I don't want there to be a war. That's the biggest accomplishment I think about that man is that there was no new wars, and it's the first time in I don't know how many presidents.
I think it's like I wanted to say they said like over 100 years or something. I can't remember.
It's at least, I mean. I mean, as far as I can remember going back, Reagan, Bush.
He may be the only president that there was only, I can't remember the quote.
But it's a huge, huge thing. And then, people hate him so much you can't talk about that. But I think it's more than that. there's so much that's exposed, but it gets to the point where it like literally makes me sad. It's like at least when people are in the dark, you have an excuse. But now it's there in the light, and people still don't do anything. You know, it's like, dude, you have a laptop. He admitted to it. He's on video. Why isn't he in jail? And then and I used to hold on to the reason of, oh, justice takes time. But then you can look at SBF. He's done. It's been not long at all. Trump and that January 6th, these people are like, boom, boom, justice served, boom. And then these other people, literally, it's like, oh, we're still looking into it. It's been 3 years, but you know what? It's a process. It's an investigation. It's not closed. And where people are just like, okay. I think people, they don't need a reason. They just need an excuse to bury their head in the sand. And it's very, very frustrating. I am starting to see now where like famous people and rich people are publicly saying, so where do we go? When the shit hits the fan here, is there I was watching was it Theo Vaughn or someone, and it was some like real liberal person. They're like, where do we meet up? Because we're not gonna. You don't stay in Hollywood. You're gonna get eaten. And the fact that we actually want to go to war with Iran is just mind-boggling. I don't know if I didn't know the full story of Iran. I just knew like the propaganda that I was taught, and I don't know if you know the story of Iran.
I mean, I don't know all of it. I know what I was taught. I know when I was at a point where I was pissed at the Dixie Chicks because they were calling Bush a baby killer, and I walked out and did all the things. Then you start learning about, the lies that we were told. And
Iran, we both talked about how Iran was like, you couldn't tell the difference between Iran and Miami in the 50s, and 60s. They were so similar. So Iran is Persia. Remember when I said there's different groups, the Sunnis, the Jews, the Persians is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So Iran it used to be the Persian Empire, and they had a king, and everything was basically, it was just like Britain. It's weird to say that because it's in the Middle East. It was so much like Britain. The clothing, the garb, all the gaudiness. Like everybody had medals, and it's just carbon copy of the British Empire. And so that was Iran. And Iran was the head of the Persian Empire. What happened was the king, he renounced his throne. They were kicking him out. But what that meant was that his son took over. It's not like the people there wanted to have a king. They loved their king. So this guy takes over, this young dude, and when I tell you this story, it's the same as everything, same as France. It's the exact same story. People are kind of struggling, but it's still they start, oil, the industry is like starts to boom. So it's the 2500th anniversary of the founding of Persia. And I don't, who Cyrus is?
Mm-hmm.
He said, like if you look at all the old hieroglyphics and Egyptian stuff, that the beard guy, that's Cyrus. And he did a lot. He's like the Abraham Lincoln on steroids of the Middle East. Brought so much and did so much as far as like moving the human race forward. So the king tries to like align himself that he's like not really the reincarnation, but that like there's a connection, and I guess with the royalty. Um, and there's this city that's in ruins, but it's a huge city out in the middle of the desert that used to be the capital of the Persian Empire. So me and Lisa talks about when we were little babies. They had the bicentennial for the United States.
Mhm.
It was this hugest party ever, and I wasn't old enough to like understand it, but still, like when I was 5 and 6, there was this old like American flag stuff everywhere from because it was
Yeah,
massive.
it's still fresh. Yeah.
Yeah, so that
I
was
have
our
a
and that
bunch
was
of stuff
200
on my website from the bicentennial on
and
my eBay store.
that was 200 years. So this is 2,500 years.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I can imagine.
the guy gets obsessed, right? He wants to make the biggest party
Mhm.
for this, and he wants to like restore this city in ruins, but make it with like tents, uh, like modern tents that are built uh, with like structure and everything, but make it look like from the past. And then it starts to be like the biggest ticket. Everybody wants to come, um,
Like a World's Fair, but on steroids.
but only for like the elite, only for like kings, queens,
Oh, okay.
presidents. Um, like 60 countries, their leaders came. Um, they were only allowed to have so many people, but like everybody, like the head of the Soviet Union and Spiro Agnew, our vice president, everyone was coming together. People that hated each other, countries that were they were putting it aside to come to this party. He spent like billions, trillions of dollars in today's money on this party. He turned that piece of desert. He redid it. He flew in 50,000 trees from France. Um, there was like 4 tons of food from Paris. There was just you can't look it up on YouTube and watch it. It's insane. He brought I think 60,000 birds because he was making a forest in the middle. And we had all the trees, so he brought like 60,000 birds, sparrows, and all these birds. They died within like a day because it's the freaking desert, and they're
Desert. Yeah, he didn't think about all
but
the things we need. Yeah.
so it's this huge thing, and the people are over half of the population lives in poverty, and he's doing this, and they see him do this over 2 years is when they're building up for this party. That's how long they're working on it, and he starts to he was pushing a lot of reforms that like women could vote, they could drive. Well, I don't know about drive. That's crazy. Of course not. But they could vote. It was literally like there was no difference between Europe, the United States ran very very similar, and the cleric started to call him out, and it was Khomeini. He starts to talk about how this goes against the country should be a Muslim country, and this is going against the stuff that they should be living. So this king, he was like he loved his people and all that, but he ruled with an iron fist. So he sends troops and they kill like 50 clerics and a bunch of people, because they're talking about against the king. Which Khomeini then gets a lot more support. Things start to build, and that's how we lost Iran. How Iran fell into this what's a religious, a religious oligarchy where it's the religion is part of the government. That's how Iran fell. That's how everything changed. Iran was a complete Western country until that, and it's just like France. It's just that he ignored their people, and they pushed to the maximum extravagant excess. and there was this huge divide, ruled for thee and not for me. And that's where we're at now. That's what
the elites are doing now. If you look at their lavish parties, I mean, we're basically in a depression or getting close to. I mean, depending on who you're asking. I mean, it's the highest number of people with
the divide outbreak. How many elites were like going to parties and everything without masks and all.
Right.
And they were telling
Nancy getting her hair done, the whole bit.
Yeah. So we're there. Like history just constantly repeats itself, and we're surprised. So which I talked about how the Marines canceled so something's going to be happening soon.
Last night Monkey Works said that Fort Sill got deployed, and they have Patriot missiles and something else I can't remember.
Well, see, and this just happened. Was it Jordan or who fired a few hundred or a couple thousand missiles at Israel, and they said that they're standing with, it was their way to show they're standing with Gaza. That's two fronts, and Israel literally said, we don't want to fight a war on two fronts, but we're there. We want to do it. If you want to fuck around, you're going to find out. So it's not like it's de-escalating in any way, shape, or form. But here, this is the next thing. Hundreds of Army officers are suddenly ordered to be recruiters. It's going to be 800 more recruiters that the military is looking for. And they have created a fast track to where, my stepdad was in the military, and it takes a while to get rank. There's you can make rank pretty quick in certain MOSs, or those are like jobs. But so they're trying to get more recruiters, and someone in the military made this point, and it's such a good point. But you can make an E7 in 60 days after you become a recruiter. Like you get your E5 immediately, and then if you bring people in, it's a literal affiliate link. If you bring in so many people, you recruit so many people, you get the rank. So
Is network marketing?
You could be E7, which should take you years, and you can do it in 60 days. And then first off, they become an E5 and are a recruiter, but they've only had the time that most people are E3. So the soldier was like, you've got the mind and experience of an E3, and he's now doing the job of an E5 who's supposed to have that experience, training, and time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's already off to a bad start. And to then have an E7, I mean, the quality is going to be terrible. But that's harsh, man. But yeah, so that's coming. 800 new recruiters. Now, my niece just enlisted in the Air Force like last month. She just turned 18. And as soon as I heard about this, I'm like, oh no. And so I called, Bambi Stickfinger, and she's like, oh yeah, I already talked to her. I know, I heard stuff. So I'm like, you got a choice. You can go. And that's like, she was going to the Air Force, which was like, I think one of the safest ones. You can run, go to Canada, you get arrested, 5 years, federal prison. You can go, you take your chances. You get stopped, and then take your chances on getting drafted and going like to, have no control, or you can, keep on the path that you're on, try and stay with the Air Force. And she wants to get into nursing, and try to, to be a medic. So she's like, whatever you do, I love you, support you, but you know, it's your choice now. And she's still going to go through and be, go to the Air Force and follow the path. But very worried, and I think it's just it's such a bad military idea to do that, to give people rank without the experience. It makes for a bad military. I'm sure she'll appreciate that, Jim. Yeah, that's the thing. You have to be E5 to qualify, so they give them the E5, like boom, right away E5. You've got E3, maybe E4 at best. You're very green, and then boom, you're an E5. You're a sergeant. You're a non-commissioned officer, NCO. And then from that point, once you're the recruiter, you literally could make E7 within 60 days. And there's people retire at E7. Must have retired at 86, 20 years.
Wow.
So 60 days in your E7.
And that's from recruiting other people, like a network marketing, multi-level marketing company.
I think it's like 25. You get that bump, and if you get another 25, it's another bump. So it's ridiculous.
That's really weird.
But yeah, it's I mean, I know that things are, recruitment's down, but we all know why recruitment's down. People are taught that the country sucks. You're you don't go from E1. You still go through basic and all that, and then whenever you would make your E3, you pretty much surpass E4, and then give you an E5, or they give you a corporal instead of specialist or something. But it's a technical E5 status to go through the training, then you're E5, and then once you're recruiting, within 60 days you could have your E7. You look into it; it's pretty terrible. So that's what I wanted to talk about.
That is terrible. I didn't know that you could get moved forward for just recruiting other people. That seems like really like an infomercial.
Yeah, I think recruiters always got bonuses. I
could get, if that's your job to be a recruiter, and then you get bonuses.
Right.
But I don't get right. Hey, you want to move up? Bring your friends.
Yeah. I mean, you get command over so many people, and you're literally like a young E4 who's been hanging out and works at the mall, and all of a sudden if you get thrown into some kind of serious thing, you're in command of 1,500 people
with no leadership skills. I guess, are they assuming that because you have those connections, you wouldn't have those contacts or connections if you didn't have leadership skills?
I don't know what they're assuming. And you shouldn't assume. People should.
No, I know, but I'm just wondering if there's some kind of correlation of that.
I don't know, but it's a terrible program that they're instituting, and it makes me, like I said before, I think that they're trying to fast track their plan of whatever it is, because everyone knows the old guy's not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how long they're going to have control. And I'm still not changing my opinion about this next election. I mean, Trump's going to be the president. Period. Unless he doesn't want to be.
Yeah, he may be the president quicker than that, but we'll see. And he may be the president through another form of leadership or whatever. I'm curious. You spent some time in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of this Njimin marches? International Njimin marches. Does that make sense to you?
What is it? How do you spell it?
Nijmen. It's like a bunch of army guys, and they're like in Holland or something. There's windmills behind them.
There was this.
Near Amsterdam.
There was
and it's international marches.
There are these marches that people go on, and they're not just in one march. It's
okay.
It's like 1,000 miles or something like
yes,
that.
It's 1,000 mile march. It says.
Oh, okay, yeah, but it's like broken down. It's like
100 mile. I'm sorry, 100 miles.
Well, they do. They're like 100 miles, 50 miles, and over like 3 months or 2 months. It's like you've done that 1,000-mile. I forget what it was called. But yeah, there's lots of stuff in Europe where
it looks like different armies are like
different ones will work together.
Yeah, like different countries are either competing or working together.
Yeah, they all go on the march together, and it's like shows the unity of NATO kind of thing. It's good press,
Weird.
Everybody sees this long line of different military people, hoofing it with their packs for all over the country. So yeah,
I picked that up the other day, and I knew there had to be a story behind it, and I didn't know what it was. So
yeah, it's a beer stein. It's cool.
It's kind of cool.
How about the retired general that said recently there will be a 2 to 3 week bank shutdown and no 2024 election? Then see, okay, when I see stuff like that, it doesn't change my mind. Trump is going to be the president unless he doesn't want to.
I think he's already. When you listen to Kash Patel's testimony at the Colorado hearing, and he was very careful about. They said, "Well, what did you do then?" And he said, "Well, then we talked. We went and asked the commander in chief, because after a certain point, then Trump wasn't president; he was commander in chief." And if you're careful about listening to the words, you can kind of tell what went on or what is going on. Which I don't know what the rules are. Like if in theory, or let's say hypothetically, if Trump is commander in chief right now, could he be president again? If he is that separate?
I don't get what you're saying, but I think we're done. We're past that. We're past any kind of secret. It's in your face time. I think it's time for the stupid people to get it. Even it's like
just say the bankrupt, corrupt DC is over.
Like literally,
we need to stand up. We need to.
I think Trump realized, he said it's time to go and hear your voice, have your voices heard peacefully. He said that, and he still got slammed. They still went after him for incitement. They still said that he did everything. So I think he finally understands. Oh, you can't work with him. It does what? Not trying. So, either if he and you and I both know back then, if he said, you know what, it was stolen, stop the steal. I think it's time we take our country back. Go kill everybody. Pull them out. Let's hang them high and start over. Mm-hmm. It would have happened. People are that angry, that ready, and they are just waiting for the order. And
I think they are now because they've lost their jobs, their families, their homes, their businesses.
But also they see that it's like they see that they're subhuman. They're I mean, it's the very definition of a slave.
Right.
If I can do something to you and you can't defend yourself.
Right.
You can't do anything back. That is you are a slave.
Right.
So if they see that, you can go buy some crack and then you're going to go to jail or in prison. But these people can do that and nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Yeah.
Everyone,
now all the proof about Biden has come out, and the checks between his brother or brother-in-law or whatever, and just another day in paradise,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we knew it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's brilliant. It's old, divide and conquer. We've said that forever. We said it's the old thing of divide and conquer. But I don't think any of us understood what it meant until now. Literally, the division is so much that the facts don't matter. Like you say, hey, Trump did this, and this is a bad thing, and then people will say, but Obama did this, and it was changed. Everyone thinks it's crazy that I can't go to Christmas because Uncle John is is a Democrat. Oh, I can't go to Easter because Uncle Smith is a Trump supporter. That's never happened. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's like back in the Twilight time, like, oh, he's team, the vampire. Oh, he's team the werewolf, or we're not gonna go to Christmas dinner. That's how stupid it was when I was a kid. Politics were like important, but it was like a football team. It's not that important to where it affects your family life.
Well, and you're also impeding someone else's freedom when you don't allow someone else to have an idea outside of yours, then you're impeding their freedom, which in fact, you're stopping your own freedom.
Yeah, but that's kind of macro. I'm talking about it's like saying when we were kids, oh, I can't go to Christmas because now I heard that, Aunt Lisa is a Dallas Cowboys fan. Screw that.
Well, OSU did win this year, so
it's
literally it is a problem at my house in the past.
But it's a joke. It's like funny arguing. You know what I mean?
No,
it's not. You're not going to.
Not for me, but for some of my family members. Like literally, one year they wouldn't come home for Thanksgiving because where I went to school won, and where they didn't. And like I couldn't give two craps because I don't care about all that.
That's petty. It's so petty.
It's prideful.
And prideful, and you know what to say about that. But what goes before a fall? It's kind of hitting the nail on the head, Mary. It is. It's like my side is so right.
It's because people, they do. It's that they're associating themselves with that side, and then they want to be. It's a right fighting thing.
I wonder if, and tell me what you think, if part of the process, the psychological, looking at this from like a experiment, part of the reason why they cut people off and cut off all that contact and acceptance is so that you would grab on to any kind of group. I'm part of this now. I am a Democrat. I'm a Republican.
Maybe.
My group. These are my people. I stand with my tribe. You know what I mean? It's maybe because before I could go meet my friend. We could go hang out. I know that he cares about me. He knows I care about him. He likes.
You cared about your friend more than
exactly.
what your friend's opinion was about something.
Because but people had their they literally allowed the government to say you can't be with your friend. You can't have that interaction. You can't be with your
this issue tribe. Is more important than your family.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Great point. Yeah.
Part of it. Exactly. There's strength in unity. And they know.
When they're coming for your children, that's what they try to destroy is the family. So that's
But they do stuff that is it's so blatant.
You got your t-shirt, you done left fingerprints and all. You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
it's like obvious. Everyone knows it now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're getting to the point. I'm really, really wanting to know what's going to happen with all the lawsuits against Facebook
Yeah.
and against Facebook and Instagram. If something,
But that's where I think that's the distraction. It shouldn't be a lawsuit against Facebook. It should be a lawsuit against the government that used Facebook as a tool to censor our own people.
well,
It's like
but
blaming the gun
no, it's not
that
about
killed
that.
the person
The
instead
lawsuit,
of the
the lawsuits are
person
about them
that
targeting
pulled the
children.
trigger.
The lawsuits are about them targeting children and using their technology.
Oh, you're talking about the Meta
Yeah,
whatever for
that's what
getting
kids
kids
find.
with the endorphins or
So
whatever.
if someone goes to jail, if something happens, because Facebook already had the biggest fine in the history of fines for the Cambridge Analytica thing. It was the biggest fine in the history of fines, and do you know how much it was? It was 1 month of their income. So I mean, think about that. It's like uh, back then I was like, it's like committing murder and then getting fined like $4 grand.
Parking ticket.
You know, it's it's a whole month of your income. So I make $4 grand a month. I killed someone, but fine, whole month of your income, $4 grand. You know, they got fined like it was like 2 billion or $1 billion or something. It was literally 1 month of the money they make. So it's not. So if something happens with these lawsuits, something substantial, that'll give me some kind of hope. You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
think 1 month of income is substantial considering a life.
No, but that's why I'm saying it was ridiculous. Because the government's like, this is the biggest fine in the history of fines, and we're letting Facebook have it. But if you look at it, step back, you're like, no, that's 1 month of their income.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yes, that's a huge number, but the numbers they get in from doing it are much huger.
But things like that have been happening forever. I mean, look at the
For back,
fines JP Morgan has had for, skewing the numbers, slap
yeah,
on the hand, all of this. I mean, the guy pulled the fire alarm, slap on the hand.
yeah,
That's what we're seeing. And that's what, I guess you were talking about, the two systems of justice. And then we're seeing more and more of that too. So,
yeah.
yeah. Well, one of these days we'll have had enough.
I hope so. And the thing about the like that was a big deal that I was always taught. It's like if you pull that fire alarm, you're going to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're 7. They're going to take you to, you know what I mean? It was like,
yeah,
it was a very serious thing.
Yeah.
And to see someone do it, and if I was a kid, to see an adult do that, that's like,
because you could cause injury to another person. Like it's a serious thing.
Yeah.
And not just that, he also was impeding a vote. That was literally interference.
That's the whole like big thing.
Yeah.
But just seeing him do
Just
that,
the
like,
safety. Yeah.
dude, that's like you should have been arrested for that. It's like calling in a bomb threat. I mean, it's just like,
Yep.
It's a huge
and
thing.
instead he got a fine and nothing happened.
Well, I was happy he got a fine. I don't know how much it was, but I think did he get charged?
I don't know. I just know he got a fine and they worked something out.
Well,
that's what he said.
Yeah, like shouting fire in a theater.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we've been going at it for a while.
I know.
People watching, I appreciate if some y'all hit the like button.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
It was good. Check us out on Thursday. You're going to be there for
I should be there for World Blockchain Roundtable. We are having a really big interview on the Very DAO. Well, we're going to be recording it. I don't believe it's going to be live for Very DAO channel on Wednesday night, talking about the recent patent office decision upholding Reggie's patents for Veritasium with Coinbase's kind of challenge or whatever. And we invited them to join us and maybe have a conversation seat at the table. So we'll see if anybody shows up. And we'll have some IP attorneys and Reggie and some great questions from.
We all pee, Lisa. We all pee.
Or intellectual property. So if you're in the Veritasium official chat, if you have some questions, make sure to tag me, and I'll try to work those questions in the conversation.
All right, and I do have hope that something will happen, but I think we're at a really critical time in like human history. But
You don't have to come and confess that you did it. We're looking for you. We gonna find you. I'm letting you know now, so you can run and tell that, homeboy.
I'll see y'all later, homeboy, homegirls. Take care.